Are you ready to let go of you? The mind-blowing reality of Anatta and rebirth. Close your eyes for a moment. Ask yourself, who are you? Not your name. Not your job. Not the story you tell others about your life. But the core of your being. If you try to hold on to something solid, something that defines you beyond time and change, you'll find only an endless flow of moments, thoughts, sensations, and memories slipping through your fingers like water. This is the profound and unsettling reality that the Buddha revealed. There is no permanent, unchanging self. The concept of you as a fixed entity is an illusion. It is a mental fabrication that, when clung to, becomes the root of suffering. This teaching, known as Anatta, the doctrine of non-self, challenges everything we take for granted about identity, existence, and even what it means to be reborn. Imagine you have a mirror, but not just any mirror. This mirror doesn't reflect a static image. Instead, it shows a continuous dance of shapes, colors, and light. This dance never stops shifting. You see yourself, yet the reflection never stays the same for a single moment. The self you try to grasp is much like this mirror. It is fluid, ever-changing, and empty of any fixed essence. Many people resist this truth because it threatens the very foundation of who they believe themselves to be. Letting go of the I and mine can feel like losing everything. But paradoxically, it is precisely in this letting go that freedom arises. In my own life, this understanding did not come all at once. It unfolded slowly like dawn breaking through night. I recall a time when I was deeply attached to my identity as a scholar. I was someone who had to have all the answers, all the certainties. When those certainties cracked, the ground beneath me felt shaky and terrifying. Yet, in that vulnerability, I glimpsed the Buddha's wisdom. It was not a distant doctrine but a living reality. I began to see that the I was clinging to was like a river. It was continuously flowing, never the same, and impossible to hold in my hands. This insight naturally leads us to the question of rebirth. When we hear rebirth, many imagine a soul transmigrating, a static self traveling from one body to another. But if there is no self, what exactly is reborn? The Buddha's explanation is subtle and profound. Rebirth is not the continuation of an unchanging soul. It is the arising of new existence conditioned by past causes. It is like a flame passing from one candle to another. Not the same flame, but neither entirely different. This process is fueled by karma, the accumulated actions and their consequences that ripple through the stream of becoming. Consider the example of a legacy, something tangible yet intangible. When a parent passes on their values, habits, and tendencies to their child, the child is not the parent reborn. The child is a new individual shaped by influences, causes, and conditions from the previous generation. The child carries forward some aspects, but also creates new karma that will influence future existence. This continuous interplay of cause and effect is the dance of samsara. It is the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that the Buddha sought to help us transcend. The challenge, especially for younger generations, is to reconcile this ancient wisdom with modern scientific understanding and personal experience. Neuroscience reveals that our sense of self arises from complex brain processes, ever-changing patterns of neural activity with no central I controller. Yet, emotionally and psychologically, we live as if there is a core self. This contradiction can be a source of suffering, as we fight against the impermanence and flux of our inner world. In conversations with friends and students, I often find that this teaching initially triggers fear or confusion. If there is no self, then what is left? What motivates me to live, to love, to create? These are profound questions. The Buddha's answer is not nihilism but liberation. When the false notion of a permanent self falls away, we are free to experience reality directly. We embrace impermanence without clinging. We act with compassion without egoic grasping. One of my closest companions once shared how confronting this truth changed her life. She had struggled with anxiety rooted in self-judgment and fear of failure. Through meditation and reflection on Anatta, she gradually loosened her grip on the critical voice inside her head. She came to realize that those harsh judgments were not her but patterns conditioned by past experiences and cultural conditioning. This shift opened space for kindness and acceptance, not only towards herself but towards others. But how do we begin to let go of you in practical terms? It is not a one-time event but a continuous process of mindfulness and self-inquiry. We notice thoughts arise and pass. Feelings come and go. Bodies change moment to moment. We learn to observe without attachment. We do not identify passing phenomena as me or mine. Over time, the grip of ego loosens, and a more spacious, peaceful experience unfolds. Yet, the journey is not linear nor easy. The mind resists because it is conditioned to protect the illusion of self. Old habits die hard. The comfort of identity feels safer than the unknown void. But in embracing this uncertainty, we discover a deeper truth: the self we let go of was never truly there. In that release, we find a profound sense of peace and interconnectedness. As you reflect on these ideas, consider your own experience. What parts of you are you most attached to? Your memories, your roles, your fears. What might it feel like to see these as passing clouds rather than solid ground? The invitation is not to discard who you are but to see through the illusion of a fixed self, opening to the ever-changing flow of existence. This understanding transforms how we face life and death, success and failure, joy and sorrow. It softens rigid boundaries between self and other, fostering compassion and humility. The ripple effects extend beyond the individual, touching communities and the world. But this is just the beginning of a much deeper inquiry. One that unfolds through practice, reflection, and experience. The mind-blowing reality of Anatta and rebirth challenges us to rethink identity at its core. To embrace impermanence and causality. And ultimately, to awaken to freedom beyond the confines of me and mine. Are you ready to continue this journey? to see not with eyes clouded by ego, but with a clear vision of truth beyond illusion? The path lies ahead, and the next steps await your willingness to let go and discover what truly is. This reflection is but a doorway, inviting you into the unfolding mystery of self and existence, where every question leads to deeper understanding, and every moment offers the chance to awaken.